Hey guys, it's Deborah Bird, your local mortgage and real estate strategist. I wanted to discuss today closing costs. Oftentimes, probably the third most common question I get is, what do I need to expect or budget for my total out-of-pocket expense? And there's a couple of moving variables and why lenders can't always answer that to a T up front. So we start off with what's called a loan estimate. And on the loan estimate, you're going to see closing costs. And if you could just, when you think of that word closing cost, I want you to close your eyes and think and visualize three buckets. Okay? So if you could think of three buckets that make up the word closing cost, or that really large number that you're going to see. The first bucket is called the down payment bucket. This is whatever percent down, so it's the percent of the purchase price that you have agreed, whether it's based off a loan program or maybe it's whatever you have said that you're going to set aside strictly to drive the difference between your loan amount, which is the amount financed, and what you've agreed to pay as the purchase price. Okay? From a lending standpoint, the only part we can control is what you have agreed to finance that loan amount and interest. So that's called your principal and interest payment, or what we call P&I. That's the only thing we have control of. Everything else is just moving variables that we have absolutely no power at knowing beforehand, knowing at time of pre-qual, because it's very unique and specific to that actual home you end up buying. So, like homeowners insurance. I have a go-to insurance guy that I choose to use even for my own personal insurance. And I'll tell you, each insurance quote is going to be dependent on some of the factors of the home, like the age, ironically, how close is the nearest fire department? Is it near the coast or not? So homes in Houston or in Corpus are going to have higher insurance premiums, obviously. So those are all moving variables that are just estimated, that when you're comparing a quote from lender to lender, it's important that you don't see lowball quotes out there, which a lot of times when it's not a local expert or it's just some international lender or internet-based lender, they just don't know what they don't know all the time. Same thing with property taxes. Every home has its own assessed value with the county, which is traditionally about 20% less than the home's appraised value or market value of what you could buy the home for. So that assessed value we estimate up front, and is a part of your closing cost, but we can't control that as far as a monthly payment standpoint. So sometimes if you'll just give your lender grace, which hopefully that's me that you choose to hire, there's only one portion of the total payment that we can control. Okay, and again, it's your loan amount and interest rate. So we're breaking down closing costs. The very first bucket, down payment percent. The second bucket is your lender and title fees. This is the cost of doing a loan. So as far as a lender fee, we only charge you our flat fee of the processor to process the loan, the underwriter, our attorney prep fee, our admin fee, and just it's this like your credit report, a flood report. It's my commission is not in there. You do not pay myself. That goes from when the loan is sold. And as far as title company fees, there's a lot of legalities there too, where they're going to do a whole chain of title to make sure that there's no liens on the property. There's also another set of attorneys that review documents. They have a escrow officer who does the closing, and this is just the cost of doing a loan. Okay, this does not vary greatly from lender to lender. Now, I will tell you, I'm not always the cheapest when it comes to fees when you're looking at internet-based lenders or someone who's international. That's because we choose not to go a mile wide and only an inch deep with our clients. We look at it as your lender for life, where I essentially will save you thousands, hundreds of dollars over the life of the loan. Because again, we have, if you haven't watched my YouTube video of why I have a mortgage team, it will teach you how it will actually cost you more money in the long run not using my team. But if you're just looking at a one-time transaction and not someone who's your lender advisor for the life of the loan, then that'll make a difference. But essentially, this is pretty standard from lender to lender. And then you have what's called prepaids and escrow setup. This is the big missing bucket that most people don't budget for. So you do have some prepaids with per diem interest. That's the interest that you'll pay, but mainly it's your escrow setup. So you just need to account for that when you look at closing costs as an estimate, until we get these final numbers, it's very, very difficult to give you the exact cash to close, because you will pay a whole full year of homeowners insurance up front, which gets tied into closing costs. Okay, so whatever that annual premium is, I've seen them as low as $900 to sometimes $2,300. There's lots of variables there. You will have to pay that up front so that you're covered the day that you move in to the house. But then your escrow account, if you choose to escrow, which means you choose to pay your taxes and insurance within your mortgage payment, you have to have an initial deposit. So just like setting up any checking or savings account, they usually want a little bit of a buffer in there as an initial deposit. So they take 3 months of whatever your property taxes based off the property tax cert online, which sometimes pending the year, we don't always know if it's the last year's rate or the new year. And then 3 months worth deposit of your homeowner's insurance. That's what sets up your escrow account. So when people see closing costs, they sometimes freak out because they see this really large number and they immediately think, oh my goodness, you are tricking me. Like, this is how much it costs to do the loan. And I have to always remind people, no, no, no. The closing costs, especially when we're before even a purchase contract or a clear to close, it's all just estimated. And there's some things like with title fees, sometimes the seller, if they already have a property survey, then we don't need to recharge for that, or the title company. They may also pay for the title policy. These are all negotiating variables in your offer that you submit. Now, as a strategy, my real estate teams that I work with very closely, and if you need a great real estate referral, I do have the ones that I choose to work with that I would recommend. And the ones that refer me are also a part of my team. So I will say, if your strategy is we have enough set aside for the down payment, I don't know about closing costs when it comes to the cost of doing the loan. I will tell you a good rule of thumb in Collin County with just the average loan amounts. These two buckets together roughly are between, I'd say, $6,000 to $7,500 in addition to what you've budgeted for the down payment. So when I ask you up front on my application, which everyone starts here, so make sure that the very first step you do is apply. When I ask how much do you have set aside for this total purchase, I'm asking for all of these buckets together, because now your agent and I are going to work on a strategic approach where maybe we ask the sellers to cover closing costs, so that all you need to bring to the table is a down payment. I will say, when we typically go that route, we do recommend you ask for a full asking price, because the listing agent is going to look at a net, and essentially the seller is going to have to deduct this. But also another strategy is when you're asking me how much of a home can I qualify for, well, if your total budget aligns with a certain price point, but you're not finding anything, well, maybe we take all those funds that you had intended for these 3 buckets to now be all moved over here. Okay, so now you can afford to purchase a little bit more because this will keep your loan amount down. But then we absolutely have to structure it where the seller is willing to cover these 2 buckets here. So it is a lending guideline that this bucket does have to come from your funds. Okay, some loan programs allows for it to be 100% gift. So if you have a family member or an employer who's gifting you the funds, you can make note of that on the application. That is okay. Or if you're going a down payment assistance program where the state will actually grant you the down payment, that's when it's acceptable to have help here. Otherwise, these fees, yes, they can be covered by the seller. However, it can't bleed over into your down payment. And then worst case scenario, depending on, again, your overall loan strategy, which we would have discussed after you apply, there is a way that we can use the interest rate to knock these out. Okay, so if the seller comes back and says, you know, I'm not going to pay all closing costs, but I'll pay half, then what we do is we essentially look at the interest rate board, which, in case you aren't familiar with, every day there's a par interest rate, which means $0. Okay, let's just say that today is 5%. And you hear of your friend, or this is sometimes how lenders will snake you, so be careful. If you're so focused on interest rate, and they say that you've been quoted 4.5%, or you saw somewhere it was 4.5%. Well, anybody can give you that rate, but there's going to be an additional cost that you'll have to pay as part of closing costs. Okay, it's called discount points. So this would be how much do you want to spend in what's called discount points, where essentially you're just prepaying the interest up front. So this would be added to your total cash to close, but yet you'll only pay 4.5% interest. Now, if you need help with cash to close and you want to eliminate these buckets, it works in the reverse. So this is where you need to be careful when you hear of lender incentives, whether it's new builds. Just be cautious. If this is the par rate, 5%, maybe this is 5.5%. And this will give you a lender credit of, let's say, $4,500, where this goes towards closing costs. See, what happens is some lenders will say this is a lender credit that we're giving to you. Well, there's nothing free in life, as you know. And so all that means is that the par rate for the day may be the 5%, and when they're giving you a lender credit, it's tied to interest rate. So some lenders will say, oh, we have no lender fees. None at all. If you use us, we have no title fees. They do, they're just inflating the interest rate so that it appears, because the illusion will be if you came to them saying, I just want to make sure we have the lowest rate and no fees, and that's all you know to shop for. This is one way they can knock all this out and kind of bait and switch you where it appears the illusion is, oh, this is my best loan option. So for all of my clients, I usually give them these three scenarios where do you want the lowest interest rate, so your payment is the lowest, yet your cash to close may be a little bit higher? Do you want just par and you're okay with paying, these fees? Or would you like to save all the money you can? Let's make it a strategy that, maybe you're going FHA, you're probably going to sell or refinance in 3 to 5 years, so you're okay taking a higher rate, because when you dollarize it over maybe the 60 months that you're there, it ends up saving you more money just with what this increases your payment of, maybe, let's just say $50 a month, than what it would paying all this out of pocket today. And so that's where some clients, cash is king. They'd rather invest it in the market because they know their rate of return is going to be higher than what it costs to borrow anyways, as this is generally a tax deduction as well for some clients. So this is just part of the overall strategy of the Rubik's Cube of, when we're pre-qualifying you and advancing you to pre-approval and to really a mortgage strategy. This is why we're able to go, a mile deep with our clients. So when you're asking about closing costs, what to expect, that's what you'll need to visualize is these three buckets. And then just know up front, there are some things that you're going to have to spend at the very get-go as soon as you execute a purchase contract. And what that means is when you submit an offer and the seller agrees and you agree, now you have what's called an executed contract. And so you will pay option fee money. This is made to the seller directly. It goes to them. It's usually like between $100 and $500 I generally see. You also have earnest money. The earnest money is kind of like your deposit and your promise to move forward after option period expires. But essentially it's made payable to the title company that you agree upon, and it does come off of your down payment. So this is a check you need to be ready to write. It is something that you need to write out of a checkbook for yourself if we're taking it off the down payment. If it's gifted or you want it reimbursed, there's ways around that, but you do need to expect, typically I see about 1% of the purchase price. So if it's a $300,000 home, usually the earnest money is 3% that goes to the title company, and it will be deposited. So if we're using it towards your down payment, eventually we'll have to see the front and back copy of the clear check. So once title has made the deposit and it clears your account, we'll have to see proof that it was from your funds. You will have an inspection that you'll need to be prepared for. I see those between, I want to say, $395 to $595. That's where you have an inspector go out during that option period to make sure that the home is in the condition and there's no other negotiations that need to be made at that time. And then the appraisal. So the appraisal could be anywhere from $450 to $650 depending on area, size of home, etc. But the appraisal is also paid up front, usually via credit card. We'll send you a form, as it does need to be someone on our approved panel to go out there, yet we do not profit at all from the appraiser doing their job. So these are just like